Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, people who betted on the Super Bowl or whatever, people that people that go to restaurants and order a whole thing of hot water and put their silverware in it just because they think the silverware is not clean. And yeah, shout out to you too. Welcome to the Big Bag Lounge. I am your host, Nick. You can follow me on Twitter, IG, and TikTok under the name of Price Wings, also on Facebook as well. Now, if you're old like I am, the internet started coming up, and when the internet started blowing up or whatever, and people were like, "Don't trust strangers on the internet. You might get hung up. Don't do that. They go nobody trust strangers." Well, we ignored all of that, and now I'm here with one of my longest friends I met from the internet. She's real cool, Mississippi born, Grenada, right?
Yep, Grenada.
Grenada, Mississippi. And she's a real cool person, better known as Miss Nikonie. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm just dealing with people. Yeah,
Yeah.
bad thing. Anyway, so what is your what do you do for your job now? I don't give too much detail. Don't tell where it is. Just give us a
Mm,
little synopsis.
Yeah. I just do digital marketing, so some social media work, email newsletters, website updates. I keep it simple. I like it. Um, I realize I'm kind of a nerd, a data nerd when I do metrics and try to figure out how to make things better. But yeah, that's basically what I do now, and it is related to what I went to school for, finally.
All right. All right. Oh, but the fact that you say you turned into a data nerd, that is hilarious. So, with your job, what is the most constant thing that changes with your job?
Mm. So working with social media, things are always changing. Like Twitter, I really don't want to call it X. I accidentally did one day at work, and I just felt dumb. But it'll always be Twitter to me. With that, we kind of stopped using it because of with who bought it, and then people are unhinged on there. I think we see it every day using it personally, but when you work for whether it's a company, a nonprofit, a store, whatever, there's always like weird people who pop up in your mentions. So that was one big thing, but also using Instagram and LinkedIn more and realizing that those platforms are better for what works for us. So things like that.
Oh, okay, so LinkedIn is better?
Oh yeah, we try to reach people with monies
Oh, okay.
and yeah, people with jobs and things like that. So
I just think of LinkedIn as a tease for jobs because they're like, oh,
I
apply for this
know.
job. And then you don't
Mhm.
even hear back from people from
You don't.
months.
You sure
They
don't.
don't check them at all. But that's
Nope.
weird with LinkedIn. Um, Another thing about your job when it comes to the data part. So, how do you translate the data to what you need to do for your social media part of the job?
Okay, I'll try to make it short. So,
Yeah,
like
they
we
make it
check it,
short.
yeah, we check it like quarterly, and then we kind of see like how many people saw the post, how many people like, shared,
Hmm.
commented, things like that, and you can see like the top posts for each platform. So you can see, oh, if we talked about someone who works where we work, and 57 people liked it versus if we talked about something that happened in the city of Atlanta and they only got 30 likes and like, oh, let's do more stuff where we showcase our staff or something like that. I was trying to find something that was kind of basic so it wouldn't say where I worked.
Right. Okay. Okay, cool. Sounds very interesting. Proud of you, by the way, because you at one point was like, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I understand it, but I'm proud of you. Congratulations, you're doing a good job. Just letting you know that
Thank
now.
you. Thank
Now,
you.
the reason why you are here in particular is because I'm doing something new. This episode will be called Behind the Swinging Doors. I want to talk to the waitresses. I want to talk to the bartenders, the security staff. So, with that being said, my friend here used to be a waitress.
Hmm.
Now, the first thing I want to ask, what was your first, what were your thoughts out of your first day?
Um, so I worked at two different places. The first place was in my hometown. I mean, I don't care if people know where I used to work. I worked at the Shoney's in my hometown, and then I worked at Old Charlie's in Hattiesburg when I was going to grad school. So, like my first day, the very first time I ever served, sounds like I'm in the military, but served food, I was like, this is a lot. I was like, this is a lot. Okay. Like, even though this is a small town, okay, there's all these things you have to do. Like, you have to do your prep work. Um, of course, you have to work with the customers, take the orders, put the food in, bring the food out, make sure they're good, take payment, all that stuff. I didn't realize how much side work it took, especially at both places, really. Um, excuse me, that you have to do. Like, of course, someone has to like prepare the silverware. Like, I get that, but I was like, dang, I gotta. Okay, I get I have to change out the ice, but dang, like, there's so much to do outside of helping the customer.
Right. All right. So Shoney's, that shows how old you are right there.
I know. Oh my God.
Like at one point, I think Memphis had what, two Shoney's still going. Now it's none.
I
And
think
it's
the one back home is still open.
what?
I think now I haven't been home in a minute, but
Oh, okay.
I have to call my mama and ask. She don't go, but I'm like, when you ride by, is it open? Do you see cars?
All right. That is crazy that you can call your mom and say, "Hey, mom, go by Shoney's and see if a car's there." Wow. Okay. So was there a difference between Shoney's and O'Charlie's?
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, so Shoney's is in a small town. I
Hmm.
didn't know every single person who came through there because, well, because you're from Memphis, like we're pretty much right in the middle between, I-55 between Memphis and Jackson, and a lot of
Right.
people go through there for work, like truckers, just all types of people. So there are people who would stop in, just like if they would stop in at Waffle House or one of the other places. So that was Shoney's. Oh, Charlie's is in a college town. And Hattiesburg is like maybe like an hour, some change from the coast. I probably have that exact time wrong. But of course, people come through there too. But with it being a college town, you've got, of course, the students, teachers, and then people visiting the students, friends, and then the people who actually live in Hattiesburg or the surrounding area. So it was a little busier. And then, of course, there are two different franchises. Like O'Charlie's had their menu changed more, if I recall. I was only at Shoney's for like a couple of months before I moved to Hattiesburg, actually. So that's how I got my first experience. It prepared me
Oh,
for
okay.
O'Charlie's, I guess.
Right.
And then I was at O'Charlie's for like almost a year. I started like the January after I started. Like I started grad school in August, and then that January, I was like, I need a job. Like this refund checks aren't cutting it. It's not like undergrad anymore. I need a job. So I went up there
Right.
and the lady, I had my little interview. It wasn't long. And she was like, you know what, let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's get it. So
There's
yeah.
no
Also the
hesitation. She's, hmm? What did you say?
I was just gonna say the food at O'Charlie's was a little better, just a little bit. Like the food at Shoney's was fine to me. I have good memories there, like when I was a kid. But I think O'Charlie's food was a little better. But what were you about to say?
The fact that you say there's only a little better is like, wow. So Shoney's had something there.
Sometimes, nah, yeah.
All right. So, okay. Shoney's used to have a buffet. Was you when you worked there, did they have the buffet there on Sundays?
Yeah, they did.
Was
Yep.
that your most favorite days there?
I think so. Because I would work, because I wasn't working at all and I wasn't in school at the time. So I would work whatever day I could get. And so I did plenty of Sundays, church folks come in, get the buffet and all
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, I remember that buffet came in clutch in college. Clutch. The only problem I had with that buffet was that cheese that they had. It was just like, why is it tart? It was the tartest cheese that I've ever tasted, and it's like the cheese sauce drizzling on. I'm just like, nah, this ain't it, Bucko. But other
Mm-mm.
than that, it came in clutch.
Mhm. And they have like this really good dessert, especially like if it was your birthday. It's like a chocolate cake or brownie
Yeah,
situation, kind of like a sundae.
yeah.
That was good too.
Another thing, Old Charlie's isn't here in Memphis anymore either. It's like in South Haven.
Oh, oh
It's
yeah.
gone. I mean, the pandemic messed up everything, so
Hmm.
they were gone. Like you
Yep.
had two of them not that far away from me. Now they're no longer here.
That's what happened here. I want to say there's one somewhere in the Atlanta region, but there used to be one in Tucker where I used to live, and that came in clutch because it was near an LA Fitness. So I thought I was being cute. I would go to LA Fitness and do a workout class and go get a salad from Old Charlie's, and I'm like, look at me being healthy, not realizing that the really really delicious balsamic vinegar had a lot of sugar in it. I didn't care
Hmm.
though.
Plan backfired. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to serving, now what was your big pet peeve? I mean, I'm gonna call it that. How did you get zoned in when you went to work?
Oh man. Um, that's a good question. I think it depended on the day and who I was working with. Sometimes that would help too. Like if it
Hmm.
was people I was cool with, I knew like it would make the shift go by faster, but just be a better shift. Um, but when I first started, I didn't really know everybody, but I got to know people, and they're cool. I didn't, every single server isn't like the greatest person on earth, but most of them were cool. And then the kitchen staff was cool, especially like the older black guys. They hooked me
Hmm.
up with some extra mozzarella, little mozzarella things. Yeah, those are bad for you. But I was poor grad student. I was like, I'm gonna take these home. I would take the rolls home. I would give some to one of my friends and everything. But yeah, like having like good folks with you on the floor that night definitely helps you lock in. And then if it's not a busy night, or if it's like kind of steady, that's what I should say. Those were good nights because you had enough time to like get things done and really talk to the table. You weren't rushing and
Hmm.
feeling like you were just all over the place.
Yeah, because it can't when it gets busy, it's busy.
Oh yeah.
So I can definitely understand why you say, well, if it's not busy or kind of light, you can knock some of the stuff out while you can, so it won't come back to hunt you later on that night.
Hmm.
All right. Now, here's the question I'm going to ask you now. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I like to play a little game with my guest. And this game is no different. So this game is called Who Tips Better? Now, I'm going to put two groups of people against each other, and I'm going to ask Nikonie who tips better. Now, I'm not going to bring up race. That's not going to happen. Not this time. Give it a couple episodes, then maybe I'll bring that up. But I'm going to put two people against each other. She's going to tell me her honest opinion. Who's the better tipper? Are you ready?
Hmm.
All right. Number one, the happy hour crowd or the after church crowd? Who tips better?
Happy hour crowd, always.
So okay, so what would make you put them over there over the after the crowd? I'm sorry.
Because I mean they're getting drinks and people. I don't want to say, oh, they're getting loose and getting rid of their money. It wasn't that. It was like, the food and drinks are usually a lower price and they're probably
Hmm.
getting more. They're probably having a good time and vibing and all that. So, and usually those are chill people, like, people who are kind of like me now, they're getting off work or they're hanging out with their friends, just, low risk, I guess we could say. Like they're just here to have a good time. They're not tripping. So yeah, they usually tip better.
Okay, we're gonna come back to the after church crowd because we have to talk about that one in
Hmm.
particular because me and you had a conversation about it one time. I was like, oh, you making sense, and then I experienced it, and I'm like, oh. But okay, number two, who tips better, older people or college people?
Ooh, that's a good one. I know I can't say it depends. Hmm. Maybe maybe college people just going off of O'Charlie's because they're kind of like happy hour folks. They're chill, and if they can't sip a lot, they're kind of like, I'm sorry, this is all I could do, but it would still be like a good amount. I
Hmm.
mean, there was some older people who tip well too, but a lot of times they were just coming for like lunch or brunch or something like that. So, they probably didn't have to sip as much because it was a lower price thing, which is kind of the opposite of happy hour people. But they're usually
Oh,
not drinking.
oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. One more. Single man, married man. Who's the better tipper?
Probably single men. I mean, I sometimes I wouldn't know. But
And that's what makes
uh,
this question problematic.
I know, right? But yeah, probably single men because like, I mean, of course, I mean, like, how I've been hit on like while serving at both jobs, and
Hmm.
they seem single. You never know though, because you always have to ask the question: Do you have a wife or girlfriend, a roommate that you do things with, or someone who thinks they're your girl? Like that's how it was when I was single. I had to ask those questions. Someone taught me, let me say, someone on Twitter taught me to ask those questions. Actually, I can't remember who it was. Shout out to them. But I'm good now. Um, but yeah, but maybe, yeah, maybe single men, and yeah. And then if it was a single guy with not like a group of friends, but with his family, that's happened to me before. It was a white dude.
Hmm.
And he was like, he was maybe his mom and dad and like brother, and the brother and I think his wife had their baby. He was like, how would you like to have a baby that looks like that but a little darker? I was like, oh, I felt like Sabrina Pryor. Oh, um, I'm good, but thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
I know he tried his best.
He tried. What? I would never understand when I hear like, okay, we're gonna take away for a little bit. All right.
Mm,
When I hear black women when they talk about when they get flirted on with white dudes, they bring up babies.
yeah, yeah, it's a little weird, or something involving skin tone. I mean, that's happened with black dudes too, but like,
True that. But it's like
yeah,
weird.
it is
Men
weird.
do
Like,
weird.
yeah, men be weird.
Men be weird. All right. Now, we talked about this on Twitter before. The after church crowd.
Mm,
I've experienced this and watching it from behind the scenes. I'm just like, oh, wow, I understand now. Now, why do you think that is a tough crowd?
um, I'm trying to figure out how to say this diplomatically. I think like there's this big consensus. A lot of us can agree, especially as younger folks, as millennials, maybe Gen Z too. A lot of church, oh gosh, I feel bad. A lot of, not all of
Uh-oh.
them. Let me preface that. A lot of church people can be kind of hypocritical. Um, you know, but it
Hmm.
could also be, and it may not be a church thing. It could just be that person. Some
Right.
people, especially if they're a little older, you know how like a lot of boomers are like, well, just go up there and give them your resume. It's like the world is different now. So maybe they're thinking, I didn't have to serve you. I got a job here and made this money, but you must. Some people think it's a failure to be a server, even if you're like a kid just trying to like buy money to go buy some pack hair because we're
Right.
going on vacation and you just want to look cute. Like, I just like to have extra money. And of course I need to pay my rent like while I'm living
Hmm.
down here. But I think that plays a part in it. I don't want to just say, oh, they're hypocritical in the church people, but I think it's also an age thing. And yeah. So yeah, I think that's a nice way to put it. If I think of anything else to say, I will. But
Oh, okay. I think it's a little bit of after experiencing it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. But also, I think they think before they talk before they think.
mhm,
They'll blurt something out. You just like, bruh, why are you saying this right now?
yes.
Like, prime example. I was at a restaurant and there was a dude who was literally, he was flirting with the waitress or whatnot.
Mhm.
And then to find out he was a deacon.
Oh,
And
oh.
next thing you know, the wife right beside him. Yeah, bruh, what are you doing here, sir?
Wow, that's
Yeah,
stinky.
it's just real wild out here in these streets, regardless of what your profession or religion is.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right. Now, before we leave, and it's been great having you on the show. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Um, since you now live in Atlanta, did you remember the whole Keith Lee thing that happened?
Yeah. Oh man.
Now, what are your thoughts since you were down there firsthand? She doesn't work in the restaurant anymore. I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
she's down
Yeah.
there in Atlanta, and she had to see this firsthand, the people's reactions and stuff. So, what were your thoughts on that?
You know, trying to think. Okay, so I'm trying to remember the names of the places that he went to. I'm actually like looking it up right now because I know that was like late in the year. So I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to, I think he went to Candy's restaurant and I still have not been there. I
Hmm.
love Candy, but I've heard like mixed reviews on things. Some people did not like it, and some people had like a decent experience. I think that was one of the places he went and he had to wait,
Yeah.
um, or his family had to wait. And
Excuse me.
so but yeah, part of the reason I had never gone was because of one, the wait. I've heard about that. And then I've heard one person said the food was good and one person said it's not. And I try not to just base it off what people say, but um I just haven't made it down there yet. And then what was the other one? Was it like, oh yeah, the real milk and honey? I haven't been there either. I know there's like one is like milk and honey, the other's the real milk and honey or something like that. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't like how they were doing him. And I think a lot more people here agree than like what we saw. Maybe that's because I'm a transplant, even though I've been here for almost 10 years, but
Wow.
um I know it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it wouldn't have been so bad. You know how like he's gone to other places and there was a bad experience, but they corrected it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the guy and his staff doubled down and made that
Triple
TikTok
down.
video, yes, triple, quadruple down. And I was like, well, I won't be going there. And I know there was the lady who owns the other one. She kind of like swooped in and was like, come back, come here. So I might try to make it to that one.
Okay. I
It
feel
was
you. I
crazy.
was when he tripled down, I was like, bruh, you just want to bury yourself, don't you?
Right. And
And
the crazy, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, you go. You go. It's on you.
I was just gonna say the crazy thing is there are so many great restaurants around here, like of all different like vibes, money, price point
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff that I wish he could have gone to and he probably would have been treated so much better. So
Right. I just said, man, you just gonna bury yourself. And I was like, all right, well, let him have it. My thing was, he said, who is Keith Lee? He's on
mm,
Time Magazine.
right.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, one more
Mhm.
thing. Oh, since one more thing, I just thought of this since we bringing up Atlanta restaurants. What is your all hype restaurant? A restaurant that
Ooh,
everybody hyped up and then you tried it and you was like, not for me.
ooh, dang. Okay. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh crap, I can't remember. It's probably close. Okay, so no, it was really good. So it wasn't like the food. I think I had only been in Atlanta like a couple of years. So the Grill Village is very good. And like I
Hmm.
went to a brunch and it kind of turned into like those super hype brunches, which is fine. Which is fine.
Hmm.
I love the Mimosa Tower. It wasn't them, it was an Atlanta thing, like the whole parking situation and the booting. My car didn't get booted, but this other girl I met outside when I was going to add more money to the machine, one of the
Hmm.
problems, her car got booted for a thing. Like me and another girl I was actually with, we made it just in time to add more money to the machine, but she did the other girl didn't. So I guess it doesn't really answer your question, but I mean, I had a coworker who went there and she was like, it's fine. So that might be my answer, but I kind of wish I had a better answer. I'm gonna have to search myself.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You gave an answer. That's all I can ask for.
it,
That's all I can ask for. But the parking situation in Atlanta is insane.
it is. I have to look things up before I go. or find a way. Like there's this brunch place we love to go to called Sun in My Belly, and it has parking in the back, but very little. But we
Mm-hmm.
park down the street at the MARTA station and walk down. They don't care. So
Marta does
that
not
look,
care.
at least I hope not. I mean, I hope no one who works for MARTA is listening. So
But when it comes, I mean, when I think about it, like Marta is like everybody talks bad about him, but Marta gets people through it.
yeah, I was very much a faithful MARTA user before the pandemic. I'm trying to get back comfortable using it because I do mask up when I go out,
Hmm.
but I really just like having my car so I can just leave. Like when we go to a game or a concert, when we used to take MARTA, you would go down and it would be packed. So it would take forever
Right,
to get on the train. And I'm like, no, we're just gonna drive. I'll drive. I don't care. I'll tell Chris I will drive. And
right,
we walk back to whatever parking garage we're in and we can just leave or we can sit there and then leave, whatever we want to do. And we're not
right.
breathing other people's air.
Yeah, I went on Marta like 2 times in my entire adult life. One was for the Atlanta Classic. Shout out to the Atlanta Classic, RP to it.
No.
And we took the Marta, and I was like, bruh, this is the wildest experience I've ever been to. And this is around the crunk era now. Think about it.
Oh, ooh, okay. Throwback.
Throwback. So crunk era, almost snap era, music was playing. We riding the MARTA, everybody getting hype. I'm like, we getting the hype on the bus. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah.
train, the bus, the train, whatever. But it was wild to me. Like we were just sitting there, boom, boom, get on my level, get on my. With FAMU people right across from us, like we just having fun. Like, okay, cool, this is cool. And then, but coming back was trash though because
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm, that
Yep.
line
Nope.
never again.
It's yeah. That's the worst part every time.
Mm-mm, every time. But I'd like to thank you for coming to the Big Back Lounge and telling me everything that you know about your experience with waitressing. I'm proud of you. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
Shout out to Chris. This was fun to have you on here. We're gonna have you
Yeah.
again
Yeah, I'll
another
come back.
time
Yeah.
with not just the picture. Because I need to see your
Yeah.
facial expressions when you say some of this stuff
I know,
because
I know. I'm gonna not
yeah.
be raggedy. I'll be less raggedy next time. But I'm happy to come back.
But it's fine. It's
Yeah.
cool. You know, it's all love over here. But thank you everybody for listening to the Big Bad Lounge. Sorry I didn't give you one last week, but you know, I did NBA All-Star Weekend. I'll tell you
Mm.
about that on another time. But always remember, your big back ass is always welcome here in the Big Back Lounge. Peace.